So in the last class we have seen the construction of the Smith chart, and this is somewhat like a Smith chart. So when we'll solve this problem with the help of this Smith chart, that will make you more clarity, that will give you some more clarity on this chart, how we going to represent all those impedance, all those reflection coefficient on this chart. So we'll come to this later, little bit later. So this is the construction. This circle is respect to the resistance, this circle, all those curves on the unit circle with respect to reactance. So what are the conclusion we can make, or what are the different points we need to note down for this kind of construction depending upon the resistance and the reactance. So we'll go with the points one by one. What are the different points we need to note down? The first point, if we have been going with this diagram, both of these two diagram, at point this PSC, for both of this point, I hope it is visible for you, this short circuit point on the chart, either it is on the resistance circles, either it is on the reactance circles, that is at R is equals to 0. This point is at R is equals to 0. Since here one circle still exists, we have been considering this circle at the point 1 comma 0, it is due to R is equals to infinity. So obviously like this, if this is the point for x equals to 0, this point should be for R is equals to 0. So at short circuit point, this PSC, that is at R is equals to 0 and x equals to 0, we are having impedance, that is load impedance is 0, right? Because RZL is R plus jx. So at this short circuit point, obviously the load impedance should be 0. So obviously this PSC point represents a short circuit on the transmission line. So somehow if we need to go with this point, so we need to take into consideration that our load impedance is 0, that is our transmission line is short circuited. So I am just writing these points one by one. At point PSC, at short circuit point on the chart, R is equals to 0, x equals to 0, that is ZL is equals to 0 plus J0, showing that PSC represents a short circuit point on the transmission line. Now we have been coming at this point POC, for both of these two circles we are on the open circuit, right? We are on the open circuit point on the transmission line. So at point POC, R is equals to infinite and x is equals to infinite. POC, we are having R is equals to infinite, x equals to infinite, that represents ZL is equals to infinite plus J infinite. It shows open circuit on the line. It also shows that because both of these two locations, either this POC or PSC, they are not at all the same point, right? They are the different point on this gamma R axis. So obviously the location of this POC and the PSC is different on the transmission line. So let's consider for a 10 centimeter or 10 meter of the transmission line, it may occur that at the 5 meter we are having the short circuit termination, at the 2 meter or at the 7 meter we can have the open circuit termination. So these 2 points are not same. So that will be depending upon the length of the transmission line. Second point, it is very important point. If we are a 360-degree rotation around the Smith chart, if we are at 360-degree rotation around the Smith chart, it represents a distance of lambda by 2. It represents a distance of lambda by 2 on the line. rotation of 360 degree around the Smith chart represents a distance of lambda by 2 on the line. And if we are going with clockwise movement, if we have been moving something like this clockwise, then we are moving towards the generator. If somehow for some reason if we need to move in the clockwise direction, then we need to assume that we have been moving towards the generator. Means at some point we have been, right now we have been standing, so from that point, somehow from some point on the chart, if we have been moving, we need to move in the clockwise direction, then we need to go towards the generator. Clockwise movement will give you the movement towards generator. Generator means source. And anti-clockwise movement will represent movement towards the load. Towards load, or you can say away from the generator, or away from generator. Now if we have been finding on this chart, we are having different scale on the periphery. We are having, if you can find, we are having different kind of scale around this. So this represents phase value as well as the length lambda. So we need to go with our convenient scale for the sake of doing the calculation. We need to go with our convenient scale. Okay, different scale. I will say what are the different scales are there around this Smith chart. So different scales are there. This is it visible for you? Can you able to zoom this diagram? Is it possible? If it is possible, then try to have a look. This has been saying that the wavelength towards the generator. If it is possible for you, it has been written something like this. It has been written. Now it is visible. Is it possible to focus? Yes. So this line, it says that wavelength towards the generator. So if we have been moving around this scale, this is the outermost scale, it says that around this scale if we move, then we can move towards the generator. Now this second scale, this scale, it says that wavelength towards load. So if we are moving in this direction, then it will give us the movement along the, towards the load, right? Is it visible? Now you will find, if this is the our axis, if this is the axis, you will find something like this: inductive reactance component, that is Jx by Z0, right? So if some curves are coming above this gamma R axis, that will represent inductive reactance. Or if any admittance is there, that will represent also admittance. So if any curves are been showing any admittance value that is above this gamma R axis, that will represent capacitive susceptance or capacitive reactance. Okay, and same this side, if below curves are there, below this gamma R curves, then this will represent capacitive reactance component, that is minus Jx by Z0. And these values same, if I have been going with admittance, that will represent inductive susceptance, that is minus Jb by Y0. So you just consider, if we need to go with some circle, then obviously if we need to find out certain impedance, we need to go with two things. One is resistance, one is reactance. So obviously these circles which have been passing through this point, that will represent the resistance value, and all those curves, these curves are represents reactance. So either it is above the gamma axis or below the gamma axis, that will be given by the, either it is capacitive reactance or either it is inductive reactance. Based on this, we need to choose our particular curve above or below this gamma axis. Fine. You will find all those circles are having different values. Look, at this point we are having the resistance value of 1.0. This is 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.82, something like that. And above it, it is always, it is decreasing, 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, something like that. Okay. So depending upon when we going to normalizing our impedance, so depending upon that normalization, we need to go with particular resistance value curve, and same we need to go with normalized reactance value curve. Then we need to choose from that point, depending upon the length of the line, we need to move either in the clockwise direction or either in the anti-clockwise direction. So if we have been from that point for a particular load impedance point, if we have been moving in the clockwise direction, then we need to go towards the load. If we have been moving in the anti-clockwise direction, then we need to move towards the, anti-clockwise direction is towards the load and clockwise direction is towards the generator. So if a transmission line length is been given, so obviously we have seen that a complete 360 degree rotation will have the length of lambda by 2. So depending upon the given length within the problem, then we need to move in how much phase value or degree. We need to convert this one in a degree, because this whole circle will represent 360 degree. So depending upon the length, we need to move. Depending upon the length, we need to move how much we have the distance or how much we are having the length for a particular transmission line. So I hope a little bit idea you got. So first of all, we need to normalize our impedance. By normalizing, we are having two things. One is resistance, one is reactance. So for a particular resistance value, we need to choose a proper curve, that is a circle, and we need to choose a reactance value. Then obviously you will find that every reactance curve is been intersecting each of the circle. Every reactance curve, whatever the curve, either it is below or above, all of them are been intersecting each of the circle. So we need to find out that intersecting point for that resistance value and that reactance value. So depending upon that point, we need to put a point, we need to find out reflection coefficient. I'll say how it is. Then we need to move depending upon the length of the transmission line, either it is how much it has been given. If it is greater than lambda by 2, then we need to have the more than one circle rotation. Either it is less than lambda by 2, then we need to move according to the scaling how much we are having. So depending upon that movement, either it is clockwise or anti-clockwise, we need to move. So how we need to move or how we will move in the anti-clockwise or clockwise direction, that will be according to the question, what are the requirements they are having on the question. I hope a little bit clarity you are having for this. Okay. One important point, another important point is, we always know that a voltage max, a maximum voltage is always found on a transmission line whenever the impedance is maximum, right? If the impedance is maximum, we can say this, yes, the voltage will be maximum at that point. So obviously impedance is maximum is at the towards the open circuit point, right? Because open circuit point is having the maximum impedance of infinite. So if we have been moving from this point towards the open circuit point, we can have the maximum impedance. Then we can say from this point to this point up to open circuit point, we can have the Vmax. We can have the Vmax. Why? Because this point is open circuit point, this point is short circuit point. So open circuit point up to open circuit point, we can have maximum or infinite impedance. Either it is reactance, either it is resistance. So if we have been moving from this point towards the open circuit point, we can have the Vmax along the line for a certain length. If we need to move from this point towards the short circuit point, we will have the Vmin. We can have the Vmin point on the transmission line. Now, as I said that a total movement will give you the length of lambda by 2. A total rotation around this Smith chart will give you a length of lambda by 2, that is a transmission line of lambda by 2 will, if we need to do the calculation with respect to that length, then we need to move a total 360 degree rotation. So you can think something like that. For one complete rotation, if we have been started this journey, then either clockwise movement or anti-clockwise movement, one complete rotation will be end at the same point, right? Starting from this point, a one complete rotation around the circuit, the end point is at the starting point. So we can think something like that. One complete rotation will give you the same point from where we have started our journey, right? From where we have started our journey. So let us consider something like that. We have sent the signal on the transmission line from the generator towards the load, right? So we have been connected generator on a transmission line and we have been sending the signal from generator towards the load, and for some reason it has been reflected back. For some reason, some impedance mismatch, it has been reflected back. So due to that reflection, a total movement is how much on the transmission line? The signal is been traveling a total distance of, if this forward movement is having the electrical length of beta L like this, if we have been considering this is the transmission line, the source has been connected at this point, load is connected here, ZL, it is VG. So this is having the physical length of L, but we need to consider the electrical length, that is 10 beta L. So beta L for the forward movement, for this forward movement, it has been covering a distance of beta L. So somehow for reflection, it is having the backward movement as well. So again, it need to cover a distance of, for a worst case, for the most unlucky case, it has been reached up to the generator. So the signal which has been going in the forward direction, coming backward direction, it has been travel a distance of twice beta L, right? That is what we have been going, because what we have been considered that from where we have started our journey, we have been coming again to the same point. So for the signal from where that signal has been started the journey, it must need to come to the same point, right? Just try to think. We need to move a complete rotation. I am just finding the concept that how it has been lambda by 2. That is what only the thing. So if we have been starting this journey from this point or from this point, and again we have been coming to the same point. So what does it mean? The signal which has been started its journey from the source, it has been forward movement is there. Again, if it is need to come to the same point, then it should have the backward movement. So somehow for the reflection, it has been come back to the original point, that is at this point A. So it has a complete travel at distance of twice beta L, right? Twice beta L. So twice beta L is how much? 360 degree, right? Twice beta L is 360 degree, a complete rotation from the source to the load, again to the source. So it is equals to twice pi, right? So we can find from here beta is twice pi by lambda, right? So twice pi by lambda, so L is lambda by 2. Understood? L is lambda by 2. So the total rotation, one complete rotation covers a lambda by 2 distance. It is somewhat the conceptual that for some reason complete rotation it need to travel complete one circle rotation. So we can have a twice beta L of movement on the transmission line. So if we are having a total length of this, if we need to find out the physical length for complete one rotation, then it should cover a distance of lambda by 2. So by taking this concept, we need to solve all our problems. So as I said, the Smith chart is both impedance chart as well as admittance chart. So by taking the inverse of the reactance, it can have the susceptance. So we can take as Z as well as we can take as the Y. Okay, so if this upward, it is for the impedance, inductive impedance, it will become the capacitive reactance, capacitive susceptance for the admittance. Same, if it is the capacitive reactance for the impedance chart, if we have been considering impedance, then that will become inductive susceptance for the admittance, like this. Now this Smith chart can also be used to find out the reflection coefficient. Reflection coefficient, then the location, as I said, the location of Vmax and Vmin on the transmission line. Okay, so here the circles, if we have been taking for some reason, let us consider by taking this point as a center, for some reason, what is the reason, I will tell you. For some reason, if we need to draw a circle around it, then that circle will represent the SWR circle, standing wave ratio circle. That circle will represent standing wave ratio circle. So why we need to draw, I will tell you. So let us go with the problem first. I am just writing the problem here. First of all, we will solve it using our mathematical concept, then we will go to the graphical concept. First of all, we will use all of our mathematical relation, whatever we have seen till now. After that, we will go directly to the graphical way of solution. A lossless transmission line with Z0, Z0 is the characteristic impedance, 50 ohm, is 30 meter long and operates at 2 megahertz. The line is terminated with a load ZL is equals to 60 plus J40 ohm. If U is equals to 0.6 C, so what does it mean? It is the phase velocity on the line. If U is equals to 0.6 C on the line, find, first point is reflection coefficient, gamma, then B SWR, S we need to find, then C point we need to find input impedance. Okay, the reflection coefficient gamma we need to find out. We need to find out the standing wave ratio S. We need to find out the input impedance, that is Z in. So we know all the relations. Mathematically we know, we can find out easily because the characteristic impedance is given, load impedance is given. So first of all we can easily find out gamma, because gamma is having the relation with ZL and Z0. ZL minus Z0 by ZL plus Z0. So we are having 60 plus J40 minus 50, 60 plus J40 plus 50, right? So it is 10 plus J40 by 110 plus J40. So it has been coming out as 0.3523. It is having the angle of 56 degree. It is A part. B part, S. S is easy. Once we got the reflection coefficient, we can have the standing wave ratio, that is 1 plus mod gamma by 1 minus mod gamma, right? So we need to go with the amplitude only, 1.03523, 1 minus 3523. So it is coming out as 2.088. Then we need to find out input impedance. So for the input impedance, what we need to find out beta L, right? So here the physical length is given as 30 meter. We need to find out the electrical length beta L. So here the phase velocity u is given. So what we know about u? Phase velocity omega by beta, right? Or beta is equals to omega by u. What is omega? Omega is the angular frequency, and we need to find out beta L. Therefore beta L is omega L by u. So L we know it is 30 meter. Omega is how much? Twice pi f. Twice pi f is 2 megahertz. 2 into 10 to the power 6 into 30 by u is 0.6 c. 3 into 10 to the power 8. So it is coming out as twice pi by 3, which is 120 degree. Now we'll use our relation, known relation. Input impedance is Z0 ZL plus J Z0. So why we have taken directly beta L? Because it says that it is a lossless line. So there should not be any attenuation constant. 10 beta L Z0 J ZL 10 beta L. Okay. So we need to use 10 120 degree value, right? ZL we know, Z0 is given. We need to put the value of 10 120 degree. So Z0 is 50, ZL is 60 plus J 40 plus Z0 is 50, so J 50 10 120 degree, Z0 50 plus J ZL 60 plus J 40 10 120 degree, right? So here we can easily find out the value. It is coming out as 24.01. Angular value is 3.22 degree, or in the rectangular form it is 23.97 plus J 1.35. So it is the input impedance from this load if we have been having the length of 30 meter. So the same thing we need to find out using our graphical concept. Using our graphical concept we need to find out the same answer. So first of all, when we have been going with the graphical concept, what we said that we need to normalize all the load impedance. We need to normalize load impedance. Okay, one more thing is required, that is the I am just taking out that one. Compass we need. Okay, so first of all we need to normalize all of the impedances. Load impedance is given, we need to normalize this one with respect to this characteristic impedance ZL by Z0. So it is the solution using Smith chart. So first point, calculate the normalized load impedance ZL, it is ZL by Z0. So it is 60 plus J40 by 50. So it is coming out as 1.2 plus J 0.8, right? So we need to go with a circle of radius 1.2, or sorry, not radius, the R value 1.2 and X value 0.8. So we need to locate this point. on the Smith chart and give some point. Let us consider we have been giving that point P. So I am just writing what we are supposed to do. Locate ZL on the Smith chart. I am just going with quite descriptive way of approach for better understanding. At point P, where R is equals to 1.2 circle and X 0.8 circle meets. Okay, so on this chart we need to find out R is equals to 1.2. So if you can find out, look, this is the circle with 1.2, R is equals to 1.2, right? This circle, is it visible? This is the circle, right? This is the circle with R is equals to 1.2, and we need to find out X is equals to 0.8, right? We need to find out X equals to 0.8. So if you have been finding this curve, it is 0.8, this curve, it is 0.8, right? So we need to note down this point because these two curves intersect at this point. Is it visible from your side? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So did you find this 1.2 circle? This is the 1.2 circle with R is equals to 1.2. And this circle intersects the X equals to 0.8 curve. So this point we need to consider, right? And also we need to give a point for this one minute. I'm just taking out the pencil. Where is that? So this is our required point. 1.2 circle, this is 1.2 circle, this is 0.8 curve. So this is our required point, right? So this point is P. Okay. So by taking this one, this P point, we need to draw a line. By considering this point and this point, we need to draw a line like this up to this circle. By joining this point and this point, we need to draw a line up to this point like this. So let us consider this is the point Q. Okay. So this is the circle, this is the most outward circle, right? This is the outermost circle. So this circle is for what we have seen. The outermost circle is for r is equals to 0. This outermost circle is for r is equals to 0. So we are having up to this line, it has been connecting to this point Q, which is up to the outermost circle, which is having r is equals to 0, right? Which is having r is equals to 0. So from this we can find out our reflection coefficient. From this we can find out our reflection coefficient. How? We need to measure this value. It is point O, O to P and P to Q. So if we have been taking the ratio of OP and OQ, that will give us the value of reflection coefficient. Just try to understand. So reflection coefficient mod value, it will be taken as the ratio of OP by OQ. OP and OQ. So we need to measure this length. How much is OP and how much is OQ? We need to measure. So if we have been measuring by using this scale, you will find this OQ, it has been it is coming out as 6 point. Are we at the same circle? It is coming out as how much? 6.6, right? This 5, 6, and this one is at 2.4. This line OP it is having the length of 2.4 and this one is 6.6. 2.4 by 6.6. So we need to find out this ratio. We need to find out this ratio. So this one is coming out as 2.4 by 6.6. That is 0.3636. 0.3636. So numerically how much we have found? Numerically it is coming out as 3523 and graphically we have found as 3636, right? So almost near to it. Graphical value is having a little bit error, but almost near to the numerical value. Numerical value is 0.3523, it is 0.3636. This mod value, gamma mod value. You just mute your mic. Everybody mute your mic. Next, we need to find out our phase value of this gamma. Phase value numerically we have found as 56 degree. So how we can find out? By taking the angle with respect to this gamma r axis. By taking the angle with respect to this gamma r axis. That is theta gamma. So this is the angle we need to find out. That is theta gamma. This angle. So theta gamma is coming out as this one. It is almost 56 degree. Almost 56 degree. It is greater than 45, so obviously it will be 56 degree. You can find out this one as here also. One line, if we have been extending up to this point, this line is for the angle. This line is for the angle. this outermost line. After this r is equals to 0 cycle. So if it is possible, just download this chart. It is available on the internet. You just download. So if we have been extending, it is 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 50, 56. So it is almost 56. So same, the numerical process, it is also been coming out as 56 degree. But somewhat error is there in the mod value of the gamma. Understand up to this? Next, it was the A point, reflection coefficient. Next, we need to find out the standing wave ratio. So how we will find the standing wave ratio? For standing wave ratio, this is the impedance value, load impedance. By taking this one as a radius 0 to O to P, we need to draw a circle. We need to draw a circle. So if we have been taking this one as the radius, this much as the radius, we need to draw a circle. We need to draw a circle. So this circle is intersecting gamma r axis, right? This circle intersecting the gamma r axis. Right? So on this side, this is the point at which it intersects with this gamma r axis. So let us consider this point is OPQR, this point. So we need to find out, this is the constant S, or this circle is for the constant gamma r value, because we need to go with this OP value. So what is the radius we have been intersecting at this point? We need to find out that. So by taking OP as the radius, we have drawn a circle. This circle is intersecting the gamma r axis. So at this side, from in the right hand side, we need to find out this circle. By taking the radius OP, it is intersecting which r circle? We need to find out that. It is intersecting which r circle? R means radius circle. Just try to understand. We have taken this point for the ZL point, normalized load impedance point. We have extended this point up to the outermost circle of resistance R is equals to 0. By taking the ratio of OP to OQ, we have been found out the reflection coefficient, amplitude, magnitude of the reflection coefficient. By taking the angle between this line OQ and gamma r axis, we have been found out the angle of the reflection coefficient. Next, we need to find out the S. So for that reason, we need to take the radius OP and we need to draw a circle. That circle is intersecting some R circle, that is resistance circle, in the gamma r axis. So at this point, we need to find out which R circle it intersects, this circle, by taking the radius OP. So we can say, if this one is 2, this one is 3, so this one we can say is 2.1 somewhat. So that value is our S. So for this point, S is 2.1 somewhat, approximately. So these two things we have detected. Our numerical value, it was 2.088. So it was somewhat near to this, little bit error. Third point, we need to find out the input impedance. We need to find out input impedance Zin. We need to find it out. So how we need to find out? First of all, we need to represent our given L in terms of lambda. Right? So L is given as 30 meter. Right? We need to represent this one, this L, as lambda on the circle. So what is the frequency for this? The frequency is 2 megahertz of the signal. Frequency is 2 megahertz. So first of all, find out lambda. Lambda is C by F. So for this case, C is 0.6 C. 0.6 3 into 10 to the power 8. F is 2 megahertz. So it is coming out as 90 meter. Right? Lambda is 90 meter. So this 30 meter is how much of this lambda? We need to find out that, isn't it? Lambda, if lambda is 90 meter, then 30 is how much of this lambda? Obviously 1/3 of lambda, right? So L, if it is 30 meter, then we can say it is that much of lambda, which is lambda by 3. Understood how we have been found out? We have been detected lambda is 90 meter for this phase velocity 0.6 C, operating with F is equals to 2 megahertz. We have been found out lambda is 90 meter. Our physical length of the transmission line, it is 30 meter. So obviously L is 1/3 of lambda, 1/3 of lambda. So 1/3 of lambda is how much in the angle? Lambda by 2 is 360 degree, right? Lambda by 2, what we say? Lambda by 2 represents 360 degree. So lambda will represent 720 degree. So lambda by 3 we need to find out, which is equals to 720 by 3. It is 240 degree. Anyone having any doubt on this? Any kind of doubt? How we have been detected?
Actually, can you please tell what is the value of the point O?
This point, I am not getting a value, means coordinate. Coordinate is 0 0. That is what? Coordinate is 0 0. We have already been found out. This point has 0 0. Any other doubt?
Sir, how we calculate the value of S, sir? How it will be 2.1, sir?
Yes. So as value, how we are calculated? We have been taken the radius OP. We have drawn a circle. That circle intersects some point on the gamma R axis. That point is R. So on that point, which radius circle is there? We need to find out that. On this gamma R axis, whatever the radius we may have, either it is OP or some other value, by taking this one as a radius, we have drawn a circle. That circle will intersect some point at the gamma R axis. At that point, which R circle presents, we need to take that R value. That is what our S.
Okay, sir.
Fine. And within this any value, how we have been detected? Lambda by 3 is 240 degree for this 30 meter length. Any confusion with this? Now we need to find out input impedance, right? We need to find out input impedance. So where we have started our journey? We have started our journey with load impedance ZL. We have started our journey from load impedance, means at this point we have started. So from this point we need to move towards the generator, because we need to find out input impedance. So towards generator means clockwise movement. Where? From the load point. Load point is at this point. So from this value we need to move total 240 degree. We need to move total 240 degree. So if we have been found that we are at 56 degree. We are at 56. So how much we need to move further from this in the clockwise direction? From 240, if we subtract 56, that much? Getting or not? How much we need to move? We are at the load point. We are where? At 56 degree. This point represents the angle value of 56. If we need to reach up to generator, we need to move a distance of 30 meter. That 30 meter represents we need to move 240 degree. So we are at 56 degree. So if we need to move 240, we need to move further 184 degree, right? isn't it? We need to move further 184 degree. So where it is 184? This point is 180. This point is 180. This point is 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So up to this 184. Each of the scale it is of 2 degree. So this much we need to move, right? So we need to move up to this much. So we need to draw a line from this center point up to this last movement. You can use protractor also to find out the angle, but this angle scale itself also been given on this chart. We need to move from this point, from the load point up to 240 degree. This is the 240 degree movement towards the generator. We have been moving in the clockwise direction, right? Now we need to find out the input impedance. How we have been finding the input impedance? This movement, when we have been drawn this line up to 240 degree rotation from this center point to this outermost circle, we have been finding that this line is intersecting this constant S circle. This circle is known as S circle. This circle, by taking the radius OP, we have drawn the circle. We have been found out the angle value for the input impedance. We have drawn a line from this O up to this QRS. This line is intersecting this S circle. So this point will be our input impedance. This point will be our input impedance. So we need to find out the value of this point. Two values will be there. One is R value, one will be X value. So what is this R value? It is 0.6, it is 0.5. It is not at all exact 0.5, somewhat lesser than this. So we have been taking something like that. This normalized input impedance Zin, because every impedance here on the chart is normalized. So somewhat our circle is somewhat like near to this. Let us consider 0.48. It is not at all exactly 0.5, somewhat near to this. And on this point we need to find out the curve, this reactance curve. So reactance curve, you can see this reactance curve. This one is 0.1, this is 0.2. So look, it is just near to this gamma R axis. So if this one is 0.1, so how much small it is? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it is 1/10 of 0.1. So we can consider somewhat not at all 0.1. It is even it is 1, 2, 3, 3, something more than 3. 1, 2, 3, right? So we can consider J as it is in the upper side. We need to put as inductive. Inductive means plus. We have been considered plus. So it is somewhat 0.031. Approximately we have been taken this one. So this is the normalized input impedance. So how can we find out our original input impedance? By multiplying with Z0. So our Zin will be Z0 into normalized value. So we need to multiply with 50. 0.48 plus J 0.031. So if we multiply these two, it has been coming out as 0.48 into 50, 24 plus J 0.031 into 50, 1.55. What is our numerical result? Numerical result was 23.97 plus J 1.35. So it is coming out as 24 plus J 1.55. So somewhat near to this. Understand? Any doubt, anyone? Any doubt? You can ask. The whole procedure. So I am just repeating the whole procedure again. First of all, what are the things is been given, we need to note down. So on the problem, characteristic impedance is given, length of the line is given, operating frequency is given, load impedance is given. the operating phase velocity is also given. So if it is not given, we simply go with C, 3 into 10 to the power 8. So after taking all those parameters which are been given on the problem, first of all we need to go with the normalization of the impedance. We need to normalize. So ZL by Z0. If we have been normalizing, it has been coming out as 1.2. Where is that page? 1.2 plus J.8. So we need to find out R value 1.2. We need to take out that circle and we need to take out J value as 0.8. So we have been taking this point. These 2 points are been intersecting. So this point we need to consider because it is the addition. So we have been taking this one. We have been joining this line from this center to P and extending up to this Q. Next, from this line we need to find out the reflection coefficient. How? We need to go up to OP, then we need to take up to the OQ. So the ratio of these two value, it will give us the magnitude of the reflection coefficient. How we can find out the angle? By taking the angle between this line and the gamma R axis. So this is all about our reflection coefficient. Next we need to find out standing wave ratio. So by taking this OP as the radius, we need to draw a circle. That circle will intersect some R circle on the gamma R axis. So that R value will give you the S. So for this case it is 2.1. Next we need to find out input impedance. So obviously we need to move from the load towards the generator to find out the input impedance. So if somehow input impedance is given for length of line, we need to find out the load impedance. We need to move in the anti-clockwise direction. So this is the location of the load. For the length of 30 meter, we have been found that we need to move 240 degree. So from this point we need to move 240. So it is 56 degree. So from this we need to move further 184 to go up to 240. So it is the location of that load input impedance. So this line, when we have been joined this point with this origin, this line is intersecting this S circle. So on that intersecting point we need to note down what is the coordinate. So that coordinate value will give you the normalized input impedance. So by multiplying with this characteristic impedance, we can easily find out what is the input impedance. Still any doubt? Anyone having any doubt? You can ask.